Level 1. Medical student. It is 4:47 in the morning. The fluorescent lights in the hallway have been on all night. They will be on all day. You are wearing a white coat that stops at your waist. Everyone else's coat goes to their knees. That is not an accident. You know 3 floors of patients by room number, diagnosis, and last potassium level. You memorized all of it on index cards last night. You will be asked to recite it in a hallway in front of people who already know the answers. Your job today is to hold a metal instrument inside an open abdomen and not move. The surgeon will not tell you why. The scrub tech will reposition you like a lamp. You will stand there for 2 hours and 40 minutes with your arm burning and your back aching, and you will not shift your weight. You are not assisting. You are furniture that occasionally gets asked a question about bile duct anatomy. The residents do not learn your first name. The attending calls on you by pointing. You are paying tuition for this. You are paying to be here, holding this retractor in this cold room at 5 in the morning. But you see everything from here. You are inches from a living heart. You are watching something most people will never see. You tell yourself, that is enough. Some mornings you believe it. Level 2. Intern. Your pager goes off at 2:09 a.m. You were not asleep. You were almost asleep, which is worse. You are a doctor now. Your coat is long. Your name badge says MD after your name, and you have not yet stopped noticing it. The pager says bed 12, potassium 3.1. You call the floor. You replace the potassium. You document it. By the time you finish, the pager goes off again. This is the job, not surgery, not the OR potassium, Foley catheters, discharge paperwork. You are the bottom of a machine, and the machine runs on your willingness to answer every page without complaint. Your resident sends you a text that says, handle bed 7. No explanation. You handle it. You ask once for clarification, and you see the look on his face, and you do not ask again. You get into the OR twice a week if you are lucky. You hold retractors. You cut sutures when they let you. You close skin at the end of an appendectomy, and your hands are steady, and you feel something close to joy about a task that took 4 minutes. The attending does not know your name. The resident knows your name because you are useful to him. June comes. You survived. You do not remember most of November. You go home and sleep for 14 hours, and when you wake up, you are a second year and someone else is answering the pages. Level 3. Junior resident. You are at the scrub sink at 6:55 a.m. Warm water over your hands and forearms. Brush moving in circles. The same count you have done 100 times. You are about to open a body. You know the steps. You have rehearsed this. You push through the OR doors with your hands up, and the scrub tech gowns you and gloves you, and you take your place across the table. You make the incision. The layers give way exactly as the anatomy textbook said they would, and for a moment, that knowledge feels like a kind of power. The attending stands across from you with his hands folded. He does not speak. He watches. You work through the case, narrating your steps quietly, and for 11 minutes, there is nothing but the sound of instruments and the ventilator. Then, other hand. 2 words. You switch. You don't ask why. You already know why. You are running your own cases now. Gallbladders, appendixes, hernias. Real operations with your name on the consent form. Below you, an intern is managing the floor and making decisions you are responsible for. If he makes an error, it traces back to you. The attending nods once when the case goes well. You will think about that nod for 3 days. You are becoming a surgeon. Slowly. Under watch. Not yet alone. Level 4. Senior resident. The alert sounds overhead at 11:04 p.m. GSW incoming. ETA 90 seconds. You are already in the trauma bay. You have trauma shears in your hand before the doors open. When the gurney comes through, you move. You call for labs. You call for imaging. You assess. You make decisions. The attending is still in the parking garage. This is your room now, not on paper. In practice, you are the one the nurses look at. You are the one the intern waits on. You run the trauma, and when the attending arrives, he surveys what you have done and makes one small adjustment to the IV line placement, and then steps back. That adjustment was a message. You received it. In the OR, you are taking complex cases, bowel resections, vascular repairs. The attending is present but increasingly quiet. Their hands stay folded longer than they used to. The resident below you is watching how you handle the hard moments because you are what they are trying to become. But complications belong to you now. You cannot blame inexperience. You know enough that errors are yours fully. A bad outcome follows you into the next case and the one after that. You carry it. You close a trauma at 2 a.m. The attending says nothing on the way out. In this world, silence is praise. 1 year left. Level 5. Chief Resident. Monday morning. You are standing at the OR scheduling board with a marker in your hand. You decide who operates where, on what, and with whom. You give the complex cases to the residents who need the experience. You keep the hardest ones for yourself. Nobody questions you. You are the chief. You run the program's daily operations. When a junior resident has a problem, it comes to you before it goes to the program director. When two residents argue over a case, it comes to you. You are the ceiling for everyone below you, and still the floor for everyone above, and that space between is lonelier than you expected. In M&M conference, you stand at the podium and explain in precise clinical language why a patient on your service had a bad outcome. The room is full of attendings. You do not look away from them. You present the facts. You accept the questions. You walk out and you move on, because moving on is the job. You are trusted with the hardest cases in the hospital now. Pancreatic surgery, complex hepatic resections. The attending stands at the back wall of the OR with their arms crossed. They are watching, not assisting. The expectation is near independence. Near. June. Your last case as a resident. 9 hours. You close without help. You are done. Tomorrow, you are something else. Level 6. Fellow. New city. New hospital. New hierarchy. You are near the bottom again, and you knew that was coming, and it still lands harder than you expected. You have 5 years of surgical training, and you are fetching coffee orders wrong for a group of subspecialists who operate on things you have never seen outside of a textbook. But the cases are different here. Liver resections, esophagectomies, operations that most general surgeons refer out. You are learning anatomy you did not know existed. You are inside the OR for 12 hours some days, and you do not notice the time because the work is that consuming. The attending calls you by your first name in the OR now. You notice the first time it happened. It means they expect you to perform like a peer. It means the net is almost gone. You are also writing papers, presenting at national conferences, building the academic record that will open the door to a faculty position. You are 32 years old and still in training, and your peers from college are managing teams and buying houses, and you are here relearning how to be a beginner. The attending shakes your hand in the OR on your last day. Gloves still on. In the OR. You understand what that means. You fly home. You have a job. Your name is on an office door. Nobody is above you in the room anymore. Level 7. Attending surgeon. Room 6. Your room. Your name on the board. The scrub tech hands the scalpel directly to you, and you make the incision, and nobody is watching to correct you, and nobody is folding their hands across the table. And the silence in this room is a completely different kind of silence than the one you spent 12 years inside. You plan the case. You execute the case. You manage the complications. When something goes wrong at midnight, your resident calls you and you talk them through it from your kitchen, and then you lie awake doing the math in your head until 3 a.m. Your residents look at you the way you once looked at your attendings. You remember exactly what they are feeling, and you use that memory to teach. You run M&M now from the other side of the table. Your name is at the top of the case. The OR is where you are most yourself, most certain, most alive, but the patient goes home and sometimes they come back with a complication and you sit with that alone because there is no senior person to diffuse it with. It is yours, all of it, every outcome, every chart, every family in the waiting room. You made it. The thing you wanted for 12 years is real. The weight of it is also real. Nobody warned you about the weight. Level 8, Division Chief. The conference room has a glass wall. Through it, you can see the OR scheduling board. 6 rooms running. Your division's cases. You are not in any of them. You are sitting in front of a budget spreadsheet preparing to defend your program's RVU production to a hospital administrator who has never held a scalpel. You manage surgeons now. Brilliant, difficult, opinionated surgeons who each believe they know best, because they usually do, and who test the line between peer and subordinate on a weekly basis. When one of them raises his voice at you in a meeting, you say noted and move on. You speak to him privately afterward. The issue does not recur. That is the job. You still operate 2 days a week. You protected those days. You fight for them the way you once fought for OR time as a resident, except now you are fighting your own calendar. The meetings expand. The cases compress. You tell yourself the OR days are enough. They are not always enough. You were built for that room. You are increasingly somewhere else. The title is real. The authority is real. The distance from the work that made you is also real, and it grows each year. And you do not talk about it because there is no language for it in this world that rewards forward motion and never looks back. Level 9. Surgeon-in-Chief. You are on the top floor. The window is large. Below you somewhere, 12 operating rooms are running. You are not in any of them. On your desk, there is a framed photograph of your first OR team. You are in the back row in a short white coat, arms at your sides, holding nothing. You walk into the department meeting, and 40 surgeons go quiet before you speak. You remember being the one going quiet. The room is yours now in a way that has nothing to do with the schedule board and everything to do with 20 years of being the person people called when it mattered. You control the department's research direction. You negotiate budgets in the tens of millions. You fight for OR time and faculty lines and fellowship positions in rooms full of people who measure surgery in throughput and margin. You are the voice of this department in every room it cannot enter without you. You operate on Tuesdays. One case. You protected that day the way some men protect a secret. For that 1 hour, the title disappears. There is a patient, a problem, and your hands. You scrub out. You dry your hands. You walk back through the corridor and a junior resident steps aside, and you pass a room where someone is closing a case alone for the first time, focused, certain, unaware of what is coming. You remember that feeling, the hunger of it, the simplicity. You would give something real to have it back. You keep walking. You have a meeting in 10 minutes. The department needs you. The OR will run without you. It always does. It was always going to.